Hello, hello, we are live on Topical Tuesday, October 2nd. Topical Tuesday, number 2 day of October 2018. Steve Sipress here, and I just had to record my daily live video for you folks to check this out. Extreme rarity. It is a torrential downpour, spectacularly, completely rainy day. It's been cloudy overhead, rainy all day long in usually way too sunny Scottsdale, Arizona. It's Hurricane Rosa, I think, if I have it correct. It's been coming through for a couple of days, dropping torrential amounts of rain. I've been getting flood alerts on my phone all day because they say there's like 3 or 4 inches in some parts here in the Phoenix area, and even 1 inch already overloads the non-drainage system. But anyway, it's Topical Tuesday, and don't have to go very far to find out what's topical and what's in the news for the past week or so. It's this whole Supreme Court brouhaha, the kid's drinking when he's a kid, and all this kind of stuff, and he's gang raping people and all that kind of stuff. So those that are experts, and hopefully you are, and here's Rick, good seeing you. Hopefully as a small business owner, you're an expert in persuasion, selling, convincing, manipulation, communication, whatever you want to call it. You're seeing it right there with these two folks who very obviously have done a tremendous amount of coaching in preparation for their public performances that they've been given. Toby's here, Jim is here, good seeing you. So we'll start with this Ford character, this Dr. Ditz, I call her. Does anyone really believe? I didn't see the whole thing, but I've seen parts of it enough to see that, like, does anyone really believe that you could be a PhD and a professor in college and a millionaire who is a world traveler and flies all around the world and be a total ditz? Because that's how she makes herself appear when she appeared before Congress. With the whole voice, I don't really know, and the, bending the neck down, and, ooh, ah, and the hair's all over the place, and ooh, I don't know, and like, really? Do you know who told you something last week? Oh, I don't remember, ooh, ah, and it worked. Millions of people in America believe her, even though she's very careful to be not susceptible to any kind of slander or libel, because she always says, as I recall, I think, to my best of my memory. She never says, this is what happened. I think that's what happened. Except for the one time the senator asked her, how certain are you? 100%. But even that, it's tough to catch someone for slander on that. It's just her opinion. But it's a study in persuasion and manipulation. The way people really think, oh, she forgets. She doesn't remember things. She's an overwhelmed. Look at her. She even said in an opening statement, I saw that one, like, I'm terrified. I said, not terrified, not for a second was she terrified. She knew everything she was doing. It was so well rehearsed and so obvious to those of us who make our living. Certainly those of us make a living doing sales consulting and writing sales scripts and coaching salespeople. It's exactly how you want to coach somebody to come off like an unassuming hayseed salesman that's not slick and not trying to sell you anything, and just being a regular person here. In fact, I'm pretty nervous here in this sales call. I don't really know what I'm doing. That's what she pulled. And so it was evident of tremendous coaching from her attorneys, who she knew everything. Who's paying for it, she knew. And, did you know that you were invited to, they were going to come to you? Oh, I never heard of that. Of course she did. But it was a great act she put on. Fantastic. Now you go to the Kavanaugh, and same thing. This guy's done a tremendous act. So you see him, now we know that if you delve into the past, he's a typical football player, high school kid. Anyone go to high school with football players? Were they the most meek, calm, level-headed people? Are the pro football players that are adults meek and calm? I mean, they're the biggest wife beaters and angry, violent people there are. And so here was this violent, short-fused, angry, belligerent kid in high school, and look what he did. He turned himself around. He got to a top school and top law school and became a public figure. He turned himself around and said, I got to put myself out as a church-going, charity-giving, calm, well put together, well-composed guy with the temperament for the bench and all that kind of stuff. But deep down, especially when he was in high school, apparently, he could fly off the handle and be an angry football player. And hanging out with a bunch of other football players at parties. Anyone's ever done that, you know not to go really near that crowd, unless you're in that crowd. Someone watching this was a football player in high school. You knew that you could hang around with the other football players in high school and at the parties and be the big man on campus and get away with anything you want. So there it was. So he's, however, for 20 or 30 or 40 years or whatever, put on this public persona of the calm, meek, level-headed guy. And so sure enough, when he had his interview, first he gave a speech when Trump, designated him, nominated him. Then he did his thing in front of the Supreme Court again, very level, very calm, very normal, very quiet, unassuming guy. Then he did that talk on national TV at night, whatever it was, on 60 Minutes or 2020 or one of those shows. And I got to switch hands because the stuff I'm carrying got a little heavier. And so, and my beautiful wife just pulled up behind me in the car. So I'm gonna end it here. But you see, Kavanaugh then went on this interview and was again unbelievably composed and calm. And the feedback was, he can't do that. He's got to have that righteous indignation like Clarence Thomas had when they went after him. He's got to be angry. He can't be sitting there going, I just want a fair and balanced hearing. Like, no, you got to fight for your life, man. Okay, so then he came out last week or this week or whatever day it was in front of this hearing with the Ford first and then him, and he came out blazing, right? How dare you this, and I'm flipping the pages and I'm all angry, and then he's getting all so emotional that he's going between the extreme emotion of anger to the extreme emotion of crying anytime he mentions his dad or his mom or his kids or his wife, and so he's going back and forth with overwhelming amount of emotion, so much that one of the senators looks and goes, you really think you have the right temperament for the court? I mean, they got him. I mean, what was he going to do? The coach said you can't come out and be calm and collected, and that coach could have even been Donald Trump himself, saying, dude, I saw you last night on TV, and you can't do that. But I'm sure there's plenty of people, because everyone on earth said, you can't do that, that's not going to work. You got to act as if you are innocent, and therefore angry, to even be accused, and what a sham, and a travesty, and all those great words, and how dare you besmirch my great life, or what a great person I am. And he had to go overboard into the anger and the crying, all the emotions. Then what happened is after that opening remark, somebody got to him on the first or second break and said, dude, you overdid it there. You went a little crazy. You started going back and forth. These are senators. You still got to give them respect. You can't sit there when the guy goes, do you drink beer? And you can't go, yeah, do you? What kind of beer do you like? Like, whoa, tone it down. So then he came out after the first break, after his maniacal opening. He came out after the break, got some coaching. Hey, calm down, dude. And then he came out, and what did he do? He apologized. Hey, I'm sorry that I was a little overboard there with you guys and a little too direct and not judicious and respectful enough, and I apologize. So don't think that he came up with this all on his own. Okay, he did not come up with you've got to be calm and cool on that TV interview, but when that didn't work, the coaches, and also it's got to do with testing also. He tested, my battery is low, so I gotta end it here. He tested the calm and cool and level-headed, and he got the feedback of that won't work. You got to go be maniacal. So then he came out and went too maniacal, and then someone gave him the feedback, whoa, dude, that was overdid a little. It was great, but you overdid a little, so now you got to go apologize to the senators. And then he went back and apologized. So you saw the coaching with Ford, with Kavanaugh, you saw the coaching, and likely with all the senators too, with all their act of, I'm indignant over this. I just want to get to the bottom of it because I love women. And no, you don't. You love women that are battered by whoever's on the other side of you. Like whoever's in your party, you don't care if they batter women or sleep with women or rape women or whatever. So all nonsense, all an act. Everyone's being coached. Everyone's being consulted to. All kinds of big money being paid to communication experts. So it behooves all of us. I'm a big fan of getting lots of coaching. Always have. Get the best coach you can to coach you in everything to do with your business. Because you see that even if you're just giving some testimony as a forlorn supposed victim of something that never happened, but it might have happened decades ago. Whatever. You get coached so that you come off as well as you can. Power coaching, power testing, and feedback. Phil Brakefield says, interesting theory, I think, of George Foreman, who went for the same thing. Yeah, George Foreman. Not a theory, by the way. It's, of course, an obvious fact for those, again, who are experts. I appreciate that thinking a theory, but those who are experts in it, it's clear as day. And George Foreman was another great one. This guy went from the angry gang, hitman type of enforcer as a kid, getting in all kinds of trouble in Houston as a kid. Then he took that anger and channeled it into a gold medal as a heavyweight boxer, and then heavyweight boxing champion of the world. And then when he got knocked out, he decided to become a pastor and turn a leaf, and he came back later as the lovable George Foreman, and that's of course where he had most of his success, selling the George Foreman grill and being the ambassador he is now, and what a great guy. So again, yes, but that's more of an actual change. He made an actual change from the angry, violent kid to the pastor. In this case, when you see them go back and forth from one to the other, you see Ford go from ditz, I don't know what I'm talking about, to walking into class undoubtedly the next day in college and being a college professor and a millionaire and a PhD. So she's an extremely smart person who then acts like she's totally an idiot and doesn't know anything, and then goes back, of course, to being smart. Kavanaugh goes from being an angry kid to being a level-headed, great family man and picture-perfect, calm guy, to being angry again and then back to calm again. So that's not a big change. George Foreman made an absolute, I believe, I've met the guy, a fundamental change from an angry guy to a pastor and a calm, level-headed guy. Just my 2 cents. Yours, your opinion may differ, but since it's my video, it's my opinion. And that's it for Topical Tuesday. I'm going to head out into whatever rain is still going on here, and usually way too sunny Scottsdale, Arizona. You have a fantastic rest of your day. Stay dry or stay wet, whatever you choose, and I'll be back tomorrow with a piece of my mind that I call Wisdom Wednesday to help you have a better business and a better life. Thanks everyone being here today, watching on the replay, and I'll be back tomorrow. Bye-bye.